Over the last century, Britain's become one of the most centralised countries in the developed world as power has been sucked to Westminster. Some might wonder why this matters. After all, isn't politics just about what works? But there's a deep connection between where decisions are made and what works. When one-size-fits-all solutions are dispensed from the centre, it's not surprising so often fail local communities. When people experience the yawning gap between the changes they want to see and those they can directly affect, it is inevitable that demoralisation and democratic disengagement follow. The Conservative Party wants nothing less than radical decentralisation to reach every corner of the country. The policies we launched today are a decisive step toward that goal. They fall into three broad groups. There are plans to give people a much greater say over the issues that affect their daily lives, plans to give local councils much more responsibility and power, and plans to actually reshape the way political power is structured in this country. I voted for that when I was a member of the Conservative Party, and I believe in that, and this is a culmination where that hasn't happened. Let me give you an example. Even if, as we've said today, we didn't want to put this plan in place, developers could go on appeal and ride roughshod over this county because of a failure of government policy. The inspector's report, I believe, is also a failure of government policy, where it believes that the transport evidence is sound. The works for Junction 10 seem to alleviate all the problems on the M27. I don't believe that is sound. And it says on number 52 of page 14 of the plan in appendix, item 9 appendix 1, it does say it is clear that a majority of a major concern of many local residents and other interested parties is the traffic implications of the proposed development. Strategic transport modelling has been undertaken on behalf of the Council, and this concludes that any increase in traffic levels could be satisfactorily addressed by the way of mitigation measures at key locations. Whilst I understand the concerns, there is no substantive evidence that would enable me to conclude that the Council strategy, to which neither the Highways Agency, now renamed Highways England, or the Highway Authority JET, is not justified, deliverable, and in all other respects sound. I fundamentally disagree with that. The M27 is already over-congested. It already says that in reports from Hampshire County Council. We are going to be putting 6,000 houses at Junction 10. Huge numbers of those will go on to the M27, as I did last year when I worked in Southampton, and you can't move down there now. I'm very fortunate that when I commute to Winchester, I can travel up earlier in the morning and eat at the County Council, because I dared to travel up in rush hour because I will not make it easy in 10 o'clock. It is an absolute nonsense. And, as been pointed out by the previous councillor, the layout of Junction 10 is a nonsense, in my opinion. That you could leave travelling from Portsmouth and be forced all the way through Welborne to go south into Fareham is totally wrong. There's other things I object to. The fact that there's no government control through a failure of government policy for proper GP provision to be provided. We know that will not happen until about 5,000 people are already living in Welborne, which will put a huge strain on the north of Fareham. There's nothing that we can do really to influence the workings of the NHS, and we know that the QA hospital is already overstretched. I just think it's absolutely wrong. And I will vote against it, in the full knowledge that I know that you'll pass it. And it ought to be passed by a number of people who will not say a word in favour of it. And they'll pass it because, quite frankly, not to pass it through current government policy could, and probably will, lead to housing being built across other parts of Fareham. But my focus is on the government policy being wrong. I know that you will pass it, and I don't feel guilty one way in that, because I'm elected to represent my area and people in Fareham, and quite frankly, to build over that much land, green fields, not green belt, I think is wrong. And I'll be criticised, I have no doubt, for putting unions at risk, but quite frankly, government policy should be changing, and you've got a Conservative government, borough and council. There's no excuses for not doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wood.